Hey everybody, I'm Vincent.
And I'm Jonathan.
And we're the Anthony and Todd Show, and today we're covering the latest Show Me the Body record, Dogtooth.
It's Dog Whistle.
I wanted to say Dog Color, and then Dog Whistle was my third pick.
Look,
I knew it was Dog something.
I got hella confused with this because, like, here's the history of Show Me the Body. 2 EPs. That they released in 2016, their really good album, Body War. 2017, they released their Corpus mixtape with, like, a bunch of fucking collaborators. And then they're like, we're doing, like, a Corpus, like, branding thing. And they released, like, free, like, helped, like, produce, record, and release, like, free albums. One of which is for a band called Dog Breath. And then this fucking shit comes out. And I'm just like, oh yeah, Dog Breath. The Dog Breath album. I'm like, wait, fuck, no. It's Dog Whistle. So they fucking screwed us over with that. The fans followed them.
Yeah, I thought it was Dog Leash.
It's Dog Whistle.
Dog Groomer. Dog Patrol.
Scooby-Doo and company.
Did you listen to this new Show Me the Body album? That's not even Scooby-Doo.
Rock the Maurice, Raggy!
It's good. That's it. You hit it. Show Me the Body is a New York hardcore punk band that came on the scene in 2016 with their debut album Body Bore. As Jonathan mentioned, in 2017 they put out the Corpus 1 mixtape.
Oh, I forgot the one. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, you're an idiot.
Give me a whip.
You got
penance whipping.
I don't know how you and your girlfriend settle things, but we do not settle things here on the show. We just make fun of each other.
Oh, that's
very passive aggressively. Which features the Corpus One mixtape, which features Denzel Curry, Princess Nokia, More Mother, and
tons of fucking people.
They dropped their first single for this record, Dog Whistle, back in February. I forgot to pull up the track.
It's Camp Orchestra.
Yeah, with the first single, Camp Orchestra. They dropped the first single. Yeah.
Orchestra?
Yeah.
Camp Orchestra? Camp Orchestra.
Okay. Just because I said we act passive aggressively doesn't mean you have to.
No, I'm fuck passive. I'm going just aggressive.
That hurts my feelings. I don't appreciate it.
I
would appreciate it if you showed me the body. You'd only give me music. You do not show me.
Keep it over there.
Oh, there's a body.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. They dropped their first single, Camp Orchestra, and it was kind of a weird track for me because I knew it was going to grow on me, and then also they kind of dropped their like hip hop edge after kind of building up for a little bit.
It's really weird because like the first album, Body War, was like punk and noise and sludge and hip hop, and it created this like really interesting like combination that like didn't always work that well, but was always like at least like interesting. And then they like doubled down, it felt like, on the hip hop element of the Corpus mixtape. And then this album comes around, they're like, yeah, you know what? Nah. And then they like doubled down to like punk and noise, and there's not like metal elements in this now.
Yeah,
too.
Like on Camp Orchestra, that definitely metal vibe.
And then there's like definitely like some like new metal ish and like extreme metal on like Badge Grabber.
Yeah, there's Limp Bizkit.
There's not
and Andrew WK.
No, there's not.
Yeah.
Did you just say Andrew WK?
He's kind of like off the scene, more because he was in around the time.
I guess
new metal,
but like at the same time, nah.
He did make new metal. It was new. He brought partying to metal. Unthinkable concept. When was the last time you saw a party during a concert for metal? No, you didn't think it because Andrew WK,
I don't
visionary.
Really go to metal concerts.
Yeah, that's why.
I go to punk and noise.
Oh my god! Just continue on with this review. What kind of threw me off about this track is how much it developed, and it seems like it was just constantly elevating. One thing I did appreciate about Body War is just how sudden tracks can take a turn, especially with their guitar riffs. It feels like they just cut off and go onto a new riff like instantaneously.
Yeah.
With this track, I feel like they did it again, and with this whole entire album, I think they do it a lot still.
There's like a lot of like sudden like shifts.
Yeah.
Like you get in Badge Grabber, like I think like it starts off with that hard hitting like bass that's like just driving.
Yeah.
And then the vocals, and then sudden like heavy guitar riffs, which then switch into a different guitar riff, then right back to the bass.
Yeah.
Then like a production like noise element, then back to the guitar riffs again.
Yeah, and you have these constant hi-hats that kind of like shadow your ears in the background as well. I feel like this album's essentially just like like you're in a crowd of sorts, and you're essentially trying to find yourself in this crowd. It has ideas of what itself is and what the world is, but it still doesn't really know what it is inside this giant crowd. It's constantly going through these different locations, different spots, and these different jagged locations around, and a lot of different textures. Especially with this album, not only across the whole entire album, but in the tracks themselves. I feel like we get these large walls of sound essentially breaking and cumbering. You'll get these like acoustic textures and these acoustic vocals that have a ton of reverb in them over very like flat synthetic production, which is really interesting that you get these like dynamic walls of sound like being stacked on top of each other. Yeah, but it's very lost, but it's very aggressive and menacing in that lost. It doesn't want to take shit in this crowd. It's knocking heads.
And it all works with like the lyric themes of this album, which deal with a lot with being lost, mourning like the loss of like people who are close to you, anger at this world around you, and just a refusal to take shit anymore.
Yeah, it's very angry, hectic album. Also, it
never feels like
unmotivated.
Like it's one of the things like that I've always like liked about like the separation of like punk anger and like traditional like metal anger. Is like metal just felt like anger for anger's sake, whereas like punk always felt like there was a motivation behind it. And you can feel like as angry and aggressive as this album is, it never feels like it's just pissed off for the sake of being pissed off.
Kind of almost like an anti-hero aesthetic going on in this record. And again, mentioning like the textures across this whole entire thing, and how it kind of just how tracks can still have kind of like the melodic edges of hip hop, but not really taking that sound. And I think going back to another topic is ditching that hip hop sound. I think that's very fitting after we had 2018, which was such a prolific year for rock, and how rock kind of came back not into the spotlight because it's not going to be the zeitgeist anymore, but also came back into being like it can be doesn't need to be the zeitgeist to be that genre anymore. Yeah. You don't have to be the zeitgeist to make music, essentially. And just because you're not in the zeitgeist doesn't mean you won't make money off your music. So having releases like Idols and Daughters basically take the public eye. Bombra, Parquet Courts, a ton of other releases that aren't coming to my head right now. Yeah. Having them essentially come back to the public eye, have rock coming back into the public eye, really showcased the fact that it's not dead. And I feel like this is kind of the second coming of that, in the sense of we're having people kind of drop hip-hop elements and kind of indicate different kind of elements of hip-hop, but it doesn't have that like new metal, rap metal feel to it where it's two different genres being mixed. It's just punk. It's just hardcore punk.
And this is probably like, this seems like Show Me the Body at like their most genuine.
Yeah.
Like throughout like the, not less in Body War, but definitely in Corpus, they felt like they were pushing fans that weren't natural to them, just because like they wanted to, even though like it wasn't who they were. And like I think they kind of realized that with this album, and they're like, this is who we are. This is them finding themselves and being their most genuine and honest and like upfront with who they are.
Yeah, just in like also in moments like Animal in a Dream and at the end of USA Lullaby, or no, right before Die for the Earth to Live. How we get these like spoken word bits, and I feel like for any other record these would come off as like the most fucking pretentious thing, but they actually feel right at home with the themes and the surrounding I guess menacing tones of the environment that is some of these like the one I mentioned, or some of these like Animal in the Dream, very hectic, large pace by Die for the Earth to Live is very just like empty. It's hollow in a sense, which is really nice.
This moment of mourning.
Yeah. Moments I really enjoyed on this, Forks and Knives is just so hectic and kind of ravenous all over the place. Madonna Rockets, very straightforward punk track.
It's a great like throwback to like the history of like what punk has been, but like still remaining like a modern like Show Me the Body punk song.
Yeah. USA Lullaby is their most hectic and catchy track to date, essentially showing this is the new sound at the end. Another thing I want to bring up, how the fact this thing's only 28 minutes, because I feel like if it's any longer, it kind of would lose me.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you're going for this ravenous, lost world, you don't want to stay in it for too long, or else you lose meaning. And this isn't like, it comes from a first person narrative, but I feel like it also, if you expanded this any forward with this narrative, it would just become too repetitious.
Yeah, it does exactly what like hardcore punk has always been, or at least should be.
Yeah.
In general, is like fast, punchy, to the point. You're in, you get it, you're out.
Yeah.
And it's a brief moment, snapshot.
Yeah.
One of my favorite moments is Badge Grabber. I talk about that one a
Yeah.
lot because I love that sound. I love the punchiness of it. I love the various sounds that it like jumps between.
Yeah.
I love the fact that we have a like new anti-cop punk anthem, which
Yeah.
we haven't had in what feels like decades.
But yeah, going back to the length again, it's that Kitsy Ghost yay acceptable length where it almost requires duplicate listens because it is so short. You essentially want to go back to it more and more, and it creates this addicting stale. This is how I like my albums. I like them short. I don't like them big, and I like them chunky.
I think Moto likes you.
Jesus Christ. But yeah, this is a fantastic record.
Yeah.
This is not what I was expecting from them. I was expecting a lot more, I guess, experimental emptiness in a sense. Kind of like how tracks like "I Need an Honesty Hour" were on Body War, more new metal s tracks like the track Body War. So
Yeah, I was very pleasantly surprised. I was expecting like probably because like everything had been shown like when they did the Corpus and the bands that they were doing with Corpus for like some rap and like things, I was like, okay, they're going to keep pushing the hip hop elements, and I was like, that's probably like their weakest points because it's just not them.
Yeah.
And then like this album comes out and I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
This is so much more than what I was expecting, and I love it so much.
And yeah, I really enjoyed this record. This is probably one of the best rock releases or rock subgenre punk releases you'll hear all year.
This is unless like Idols brings that new album out.
Yeah.
That they've kind of hinting that they're working on.
Yeah.
Like this is probably going to be like the best, and even then, with that, it could still be the best punk album.
Especially
of the
this
year.
has some of the best production because how the mixing of this. I was talking to you this off camera. How at times it comes off really shitty, but it isn't. It isn't that it's like supposed to be shitty.
not
It's
supposed
shitty.
to be clean.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be clean because you're getting so many layers of elements stacked on top of each other. There's no way to make that clean because you're getting synthetic distortion, natural distortion from like the guitars, and like you're getting these like heavy drums underneath and the vocals on top. Like there's no way you can make that clean. It just kind of more comes off. The vocalist is more present, and everything else is kind of low because you have to do it that way. You need some headspace. It can't just be peaking all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like this record a lot, and it's one of the most surprising releases of 2019 so far.
I literally bought this album twice. I bought it, like I pre-bought it because it was showing the body like the moment it was available on iTunes, and I was like, "Fuck yeah!" I bought the vinyl, still waiting on it to arrive.
And I think we're gonna leave it at that. Until next time, guys. I'm Vincent,
I'm Joffin.
and see you, boys.